Welcome to Flash from Scratch Tutorial 24 Mask. I'm going to keep the default settings for this new document, and a mask is a means of displaying on the screen parts of a image or a background, and by selecting a mask you select and choose which parts of that image you wish to see. So I'm going to start by bringing in an image. So I'll go under File, Import to the stage. If I go to the stage, that's going to bring it and put it on the stage and in my library at the same time. And I have this picture here. I think it's a JPEG. It's on my stage now, but if I look here, it's also in my library. I'm going to call this my picture, PIC, and I'm going to lock that so I don't inadvertently change it. Insert a new layer. I'm calling this my mask, M-A-S-K. And other editing programs and drawing programs, the mask usually removes what you don't want to see, but in the case of Flash, the mask shows you what you want to see, which makes more sense to me. So I'm going to pick up my rectangle tool, and I'm going to draw a rectangle over this fireplace. That's the first thing I'm going to do. Now if I just looked at that and viewed it, I'd see exactly what I have on the stage now, in the background with this red rectangle stuck in it. So if I make a mask, double click on this mask layer here, select mask as the type, and when I click OK, I make this little symbol to let me know this is a special layer called the mask. And if I tested this movie now, you don't see it. It's a mask. But you're seeing everything because it's not masking anything. So grab this pictures layer, click on it, bring it up to the right, and you'll see that little circle and this long line. Leave it go. Now this image is being masked. If I test it now, we'll just see that fireplace. Okay, that's pretty self-explanatory. Pick up your selection tool, double click and select the whole perimeter of this stroke, and get the crosshairs and just drag it over here for a minute. Pick up your selection tool, click off to the side so you're not selecting that anymore. Select half of this, click on it and drag it. Oh, let's drag it over on the bench somewhat. Now let's test the movie. You might be surprised what you see. We see this part. We don't see the stroke, the outline, and we don't see that second part we made cut off and moved. So that's something you may want to be aware of. I'm just going to put that back the way it was. Now if I test it, there's that, but the stroke is never used. So now let's come in here. I'm not in select it. Let's select this white box with the red line through it. That means I have no stroke. Pick up my rectangle tool. Let's make another little squarish rectangle over here on this bench. Now let's test it. But there it is. So something you're aware of, when you're chopping them up, it doesn't seem to carry the mask over, but you can make new ones, and normally you would make a mask without the stroke. It has no value putting the stroke in. Let's say now we had another image, so let's put another layer in, and unlock all the layers right now. See, when you lock the layers, it sort of gives you your idea of what you're looking at. And here I want to, on this layer, what's called layer 3, I'm going to pick up a oval and give it a different color. Let's put an oval right here. Now naturally, because it's on top, when I test if I looked at it and test my movie, I'm going to see my two masked areas, and I'm going to see that oval that is on top of everything because it's on the top layer. If I bring that layer right down to the bottom, you'll never see it. You'll not see it now because it's behind this picture. But because the picture is masked out, I can see what's behind it. That might be a handy thing for you to use. Did you get that? Because it's down here, you can't see it here. But when I actually test it, that big image is masked out. The only part of the image that's being seen is here and here. So anything that's in a layer below it would be seen. Okay, let's do one more. Let's select that layer. Let's insert another layer. Let's call this one red. I think that's the red one. No, this one's the red one. Let's call this layer blue oval. Blue ove. Alright, and we just made a new layer here, layer 4. Let's unlock it. And let's pick up a color here. Let's go with an orangey color. And let's make another oval here. Now if we left it there, it would act the same as this one. Let's call this orange. O-R-O-V, so just keep track. But let's put this one in the mask. So it's in and being masked. And because none of the mask here, this block or this block, is not on this, we shouldn't be able to see this oval. Makes sense. I just cut a section out of my video by mistake, and what I did during that time is I unlocked the mask layer. That's why you can't see the two ovals that are behind. They're behind the JPEG yard image. Let's go back to the mask layer. Let's move this oval up here on top of the picture. Now let's test it again. Still not going to be seen, right? Still not going to be seen. So now let's put another piece of mask on top of that. So select off to here, and let's pick up a different color, blue. Select that mask layer, select my rectangle tool, and let's make a line through here like that. Now we're going to see this much of that red oval. And the background in the red oval. So you can see that you can put multi layers under a mask. You definitely see that if I put the order of them in here determines what you're going to see. And I suggest you try a few things on your own and make sure you get used to doing it before you get into a big project and all of a sudden you get mixed up. Put some labels on here, helps you keep track. I hope you learned something from this short tutorial, and I hope you use what you learn.